And he's here. Oh, Charles Dickens, of course. Peter Rowland. Peter, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Very nice to see you here. You do, within the book, of course, give the reader copious notes so that your method of compilation and your various sources can be followed. So that's something to do when we have the book in our hands. But tell us briefly where you started from, how you approached this.
Well, basically, I was intrigued by the fact that Dickens started writing his biography when at the age of 35, and he got so far until his early 20s and stopped. He couldn't go on beyond that point, and most of the text, most manuscript, was later destroyed, theoretically in fire at any rate, burnt up. But in fact, large fragments were left over, and I was very tantalised by the fact that here was part of an autobiography which he hadn't got around to finishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see if I could recreate or reconstruct what he would have written, and plus take it a wee bit further into ending on a note of triumph, as it were, with the publication of Pickwick and Oliver Twist and the other bestsellers of the day.
Right, absolutely. So how did you go about filling in the material, so to speak?
The main starting point was the actual fragments of his own autobiography, which covered his childhood from about the age of 10 up to early manhood, 20, when he started to decide what he was do for a career, and decided he might go on stage even. At that point it came to a halt because he had wanted to write about his courtship of Maria Bignell, but he felt that was too traumatic an experience for him to write at that stage. So the whole thing ground to a halt. But he wrote about his childhood in many other places, in articles, correspondence, speeches. He called in childhood memories as the toys he played with, the books he read, the pantomimes he went to, the theatre trips and that sort of thing, and lots of broader experiences. So I was able to reconstruct from that.
LBC 1152.
It is LBC 11:52. What a Friday afternoon. Steve Jones with you through till 4, and my guest in the studio in this part of the programme is Peter Rowland, who's compiled and edited, we should say, rather than having written Charles Dickens' My Early Times, because Charles Dickens, Peter, is the originator of the material. A great storyteller. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yes, in fact, he almost invented the title, Steve. He first took you back to My Early Times to letter to somebody, so I said, that's the ideal title, and grabbed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So a great storyteller. How much do you think he was determined to be that in his early times, in his early years, determined to be a great storyteller, and how much a campaigner against social injustice, which, of course, inevitably he was? What do you think?
That certainly emerged, yes. When he started telling stories from his earliest childhood, he wrote plays for the other children to act in, because he was the age of 9 or whatever.